but no. Long story short, like I had an accidental overdose, right?
Mm-hmm.
On what was it? Hydromorphone.
What is
Uh,
that?
so it's pretty much like it's an opiate which is 4 to 8 times more potent than like oxy, right, per milligram.
Is it a downer?
It's a painkiller.
Okay, so it's a downer.
Yeah. And then I mixed. So I was supposed to only take half because they come in 8 milligram shields.
Why did you have it? Was it prescribed to you?
Uh, I was prescribed like other painkillers, but that ran out, and then I got these from like my buddy who's like sells them and stuff. But yeah, so because they come in eights and eight's very strong, like doctors will literally give you like 1 milligram, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would like cut it in half, and just have like four. Uh, but I already took Xanax before that, so my mind was kind of boggled, and I knew exactly how much I had because I had like 2 bars of Xanax, which were like because they don't make bars of Xanax anymore, right? They actually never made bars of Xanax in Canada. Um, that was
What are bars of Xanax?
like a Xanax bar.
What is that?
It's like a white bar.
What is Xanax for? Anxiety?
It's a benzodiazepine. Yeah, it's up. It's Xanax is like the I guess like the brand name for the drug alprazolam. Alprazolam is a benzodiazepine, right?
Which is for anxiety.
For anxiety, yeah, it gives
Okay.
you like a calming
Is that
effect.
why you were taking it?
Yeah. So I was taking it for sleep. I think other technically I was taking other benzodiazepines for sleep, like Klonopin, uh, or clonazepam. That's what it's called. Just a bunch. Just Ativan, clonazepam, Valium,
Mm-hmm.
right? I know a lot about benzos, right? Because that was like one of my DOCs, drugs of choice.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, anyways, so I got these Xanax bars that had like 5 milligrams in them,
Mm-hmm.
when technically they're only supposed to have two,
Mm-hmm.
but I already knew they had five, right? And I took two of them, so that's like 10. And
Why? Why did you take two?
because I have such a high tolerance to benzodiazepines, where let's say if I never took it, if I took half of one, I like knock out in like 2 minutes, right?
Okay.
Well, you get that real good, feel good. It's like a bubbly, tingly sensation, like
Yeah.
all warm and nice and all that, but that fades away after a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just taking it for sleep at that point, and then I had a tweaked back,
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, all right, well, let me at least take like half of one. But I guess I was so like zonked out from the bars that like
From the Xanax, yeah.
yeah, that I just took both of the 8 milligrams,
Mm-hmm.
right, of the opiates. So what is that? That's 16 milligrams. And so that's anywhere from like I don't know 70 to like 130 milligrams of like oxy, right? If you do the equivalency. And then yeah, this was like I would say Wednesday night going into Thursday morning around 1 a.m. was when I took it. I was eating dinner. Last thing I remember is I just woke up and 2 days later in the hospital in the ER. Right?
I want to know this just because I want to know if like there was people around you. Do you like were you with family at the time or do you live by yourself?
No, I live in the basement, a basement apartment of my parents' house.
Okay, so was how did they know that something was going on?
Yeah, I mean they knew that like I was dabbling back and forth. Just oh yeah, just to give you some history, like I've been in like active recovery for the last like since COVID, since I went to rehab back in 2020 August or July. Yeah.
For the same thing?
It was for I'm a poly addict, right? So it was mainly for benzodiazepines at that point, because I went from taking like 16 bars a day down to like 4 or 3, but then it gets really hard once you get down to like the nitty gritty of it, right?
Does it have like withdrawals and stuff?
Yeah. So benzodiazepines have like the worst withdrawals, worse than heroin, I would say. I never tried heroin. Actually, well, synthetic heroin technically is like opiates, right?
Are
Uh,
these all opiates? Everything that you're saying?
so no, benzodiazepines aren't opiates. They're benzodiazepines. That's what they're classified as.
Okay. What are
Uh,
they for?
It's just for anxiety, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it just gives you that calming, sedative
Okay.
effect and euphoric effect. But yeah, that, and then I would dabble with opiates a bit too, and I just couldn't get off of the Xans pretty much, right? So then I went to rehab for it.
And this was when you were how old?
This is, well, I'm 27, something like
How old are
that.
you right now?
I'm gonna be 32 next month.
Okay.
Yeah,
So this is a few years ago.
yeah. So this is in 2020.
Okay, so you went to rehab.
Yeah, I went to rehab. I was in detox for I think it was like almost 2 weeks,
Yeah.
right? So they told me that like I was the longest person to ever be like in their detox, like, you know, because like I was literally shaking. I couldn't even eat. Like if I had like a fork, it'd be like a drill like on the plate, like, you know.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And the thing is, you can't cut benzodiazepines cold turkey either, right? You have to taper off of it slowly by taking other benzodiazepines that are longer acting and stay in your body, right? Xanax is a very short acting benzo, right? And the withdrawals, like if you try to get off of them, they would probably last like for at least 8 months, right? And then even then, you have something called pause, which is post-acute withdrawal syndrome.
Okay.
So even if you sober up and you're good to go and you taper, 18 months down the road, you can all of a sudden get withdrawals, right, for a few days.
I've heard that about depression medication.
Yeah, that's I believe serotonin.
SSIs?
No, not that's SSRIs you're talking about.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, so selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. But what I'm talking about is serotonin syndrome, which is where if you take too much of something, like it'll cause like a chemical imbalance in your brain where like your serotonin levels are fucked.
So even when you think you're better, months down the road, you can still go through withdrawal.
Yeah,
is what
but
you
that's
were-
specifically for Xanax, right?
Okay.
And opiates as well, right? But with opiates, you know, you ever see those movies where like you're a heroin addict, they chain you to like, you know, the basement or something, like to the furnace, and then like 5 days later they're better, right? Yeah, Xanax is like that, because finally when I got off of it, and I'll get back to our story, right? But finally when I got off of it, and then I was good and all. I relapsed again in October, and I was on like a 6-week binge, and then I quit cold turkey. And man, when it was like the most painful experience of my life. Like day one, like it didn't get every day it didn't get better. Like it got worse and worse and worse, to the point where it was just like I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't shit, I couldn't do anything, right? Like all I could really do was just like either cry or just pray. And at one point, I kid you not, and I take this back, but I like made a deal with the devil to like literally remove this pain from my body. Like I signed a contract, right? Uh, I wrote a contract saying like, you know, I will do X. I give my soul to like the devil. They feel like he helps me out in this situation. I cut my finger, you know, smeared it on there with blood, right? So it's like binding, and then I burned it, right? And then nothing still happened, right? And then I just couldn't handle it. I was literally
And
suffering.
you were doing